Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we like to blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on all the latest in technology and gadgets.
That's right.
This week, it feels like every time I refresh my news feed, there's something new and crazy happening in the tech world.
Absolutely.
Then
It's hard to keep up sometimes.
it really is. So we wanted to kind of dive into some of the big stories that have caught our attention.
Sounds good. What's first on the menu?
Well, okay, the thing that really blew me away was OpenAI's new image generator. Have you seen this thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It is. Some of the stuff it can do is just bonkers. Like turning a regular photo into something that looks like it came straight out of a Studio Ghibli film.
Right. And creating detailed infographics like it's nothing. It can even draw wine glasses properly now. Remember how AI used to struggle with those?
Oh, yeah, that was always a meme. Like, can AI finally draw a decent-looking wine glass? Well, I guess now it can.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it just shows how quickly this technology is evolving. The fact that it can handle these intricate details like spelling within images and those wine glasses, it points to some serious progress in the underlying AI models. It makes you wonder what they'll be capable of next year or even next month.
Right. And speaking of those Studio Ghibli transformations, those things went viral so fast. But this kind of throws us right into the whole copyright debate, doesn't it?
Yeah, no.
I mean, we've already got those lawsuits going on with Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. And now that anyone can easily generate images that mimic a specific artist's style, like with Studio Ghibli, it feels like this is only going to heat things up even more.
No doubt about it. This new level of accessibility where anyone can essentially create derivative works based on existing art styles, it really amps up the core arguments in those lawsuits. It's going to put even more pressure on the legal system to figure out how to handle this, especially when you think about the scale of potential output here. With millions of users now having access to this tech.
It's a whole new ballgame. And it's kind of interesting that around the same time, Google announced their own impressive AI model, but it didn't seem to get nearly as much attention. Do you think the timing of OpenAI's release was strategic, like a way to overshadow Google's announcement?
Possibly. I mean, in the tech world, timing is everything. It wouldn't be surprising if OpenAI wanted to grab the spotlight and maintain their lead in the AI space, especially when you consider how public perception can be swayed by what's the most visually impressive or what's being talked about the most, even if there are other really good models out there.
It's all about marketing at the end of the day.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
So sticking with OpenAI for a second, they've also integrated Anthropic's MCP into their agent SDK. Now, for those of us who aren't super techie, can you break down what that actually means and why it matters?
Okay, so think of it like this. You've got different software programs, right? And they all need to communicate with each other and share information. MCP, the Model Context Protocol, is like a universal translator that allows AI models to connect and work with all sorts of data sources and other tools much easier. And by integrating it into their Agent SDK, which is essentially a toolkit for building AI apps, OpenAI is making it way simpler for developers to create AI apps that can access and utilize a much broader range of information.
Okay, so it's like giving these AI brains a bigger toolbox to work with.
Exactly. And that's a big step towards more integrated and versatile AI applications that can interact with the real world in more meaningful ways.
Got it. So it's not just about generating cool images anymore, it's about actually using AI to get things done. And speaking of getting things done, we're seeing more and more examples of AI being used to automate tasks. Like Microsoft launched researcher and analyst agents for Copilot, and then there's Twin's invoice operator. It's like AI is moving beyond the hype and actually starting to make a difference in our day-to-day work.
You got it. These developments are really exciting because they signal a move from general AI models to these more specialized agents that are designed for specific functions within a business setting. For example, Microsoft's new agents for Copilot are all about boosting productivity. They connect AI directly to business data and automate complex workflows within their Microsoft 365 apps like Teams, Outlook, Excel, stuff people use every day.
Right. So it's like having an AI assistant who actually knows how to navigate your work environment.
Exactly. And then you have Twin's invoice operator, which is a partnership with Quanto, a fintech company. This demonstrates how AI agents can streamline those crucial but often tedious tasks like invoice management. And this is just the beginning. We're going to see more and more of these specialized AI agents popping up across different industries.
It's like the robots are finally here, but instead of taking over the world, they're just helping us with our paperwork.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
Okay, so we've got the big tech players making news, but there are also some smaller players making waves, like XAI, Elon Musk's AI company. Their Grok chatbot is now integrated into Telegram for premium users. That's huge potential reach, giving tons of people access to this tech. But it also brings up some concerns about privacy, right?
Definitely. On the one hand, putting Grok inside Telegram gives a massive user base access to a very powerful AI assistant. Grok's known for its real-time reasoning and coding capabilities, so it can be incredibly useful for all sorts of things. But, and this is a big but, it also raises concerns about data collection and what happens to that data, especially with an AI like Grok that's known for being pretty unfiltered in its responses.
Right, so it's like, do we want an AI that's super smart and efficient, but maybe a little too loose with our data?
It's a trade-off, and it's something we all need to think about. How much convenience and functionality are we willing to sacrifice for privacy?
It's a tough question. And then there's Amazon. Always got to talk about Amazon. They just launched this new AI-powered interests feature for personalized shopping. Seems like they're trying to make it even easier to discover new products, which sounds great in theory. But it also feels like they're getting even better at knowing what we want, maybe even before we know it ourselves.
You hit the nail on the head. Amazon's always been good at using data to make recommendations. But this new AI feature takes it to another level. They're basically using AI to predict what you might be interested in based on your prompts and past behavior. It could definitely make shopping easier and more enjoyable for some people. But it also raises those questions about how much influence algorithms should have on our choices.
That's a fine line. All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the infrastructure that makes all this AI magic possible. We saw a pretty big funding round for Island, the enterprise browser startup, $250 million, valuing them at almost $5 billion. That's a lot of faith in a browser. What's the story there?
It's a significant investment, for sure. And it shows that security and control are becoming super important for businesses. Island is focused on building a secure and managed browser experience specifically for companies. And investors clearly see a growing demand for that type of solution. It highlights how important the infrastructure layer is becoming as we rely more and more on cloud-based applications and have to protect all that sensitive data.
It's like the foundation needs to be strong to support all the fancy stuff built on top.
Exactly. And speaking of fancy stuff, OpenAI might be getting a huge new funding round, something like $40 billion. Apparently, SoftBank's leading it. That kind of money is just mind-blowing.
It's astronomical. And it shows that belief in AI's potential is still super strong.
Absolutely. This kind of investment signals that major players like SoftBank are betting big on OpenAI's long-term vision. They see OpenAI as a leader in AI research and development. And this kind of money could fuel some really ambitious projects down the line.
Who knows what they'll come up with next?
Right. It's exciting to think about.
And it's not just about pouring money into Silicon Valley. We're seeing AI infrastructure being built around the world. Like in Africa, Strive Masiewa's Cassava Technologies is partnering with NVIDIA to build the continent's first AI factory in Zimbabwe.
It's a huge development. It's all about making advanced AI technology more accessible and fostering innovation in new places. This AI factory is going to be powered by NVIDIA's supercomputers. And that's going to create a foundation for developing AI-driven solutions that are specific to the challenges and opportunities in Africa. It could have a really positive impact on lots of different industries.
It's awesome to see AI spreading its wings beyond the usual tech hubs.
It's really encouraging.
All right, let's move on to some hardware and software news. Nintendo's reportedly working on a virtual game cards feature to make it easier to port Switch games to other devices. Seems like they're getting ready for the Nintendo Switch 2, which we're all eagerly awaiting.
Yeah, that makes sense. If they can make it easy to bring their existing Switch games over to a new console, it makes the transition smoother for everyone. They've got a ton of great games, so it's smart to leverage that and keep the momentum going as they release new hardware.
It's a win for both Nintendo and gamers. And speaking of wins for gamers, Hisense just unveiled their 2025 ULED TVs. These things are beasts, up to 100 inches and a whopping 5,000 nits of peak brightness. Talk about eye-popping.
Right, they're definitely catering to the home theater crowd with those specs. That level of brightness is going to make a huge difference, especially for HDR content. And in a bright room, it's going to be amazing.
Can't wait to see those in action. Now, Google's making a bit of a change in how they develop Android. They're moving to an internal-only development model. They say it's to streamline the process of merging code between the public and internal versions. But they're still going to release the source code publicly. What are your thoughts on this move?
Well, From a software development standpoint, their explanation makes sense. Maintaining two different development streams can get messy, but the key thing is that they're still committed to open source. They're still going to make the Android source code available to everyone. And that's crucial for the Android developer community and for keeping innovation going.
Yeah.
So it seems like this is more about internal efficiency than a big philosophical change.
It's good to hear they're not abandoning open source.
Hmm.
All right, before we wrap up, there's one more bit of news I got to share. This one's more for fun. Remember the Lumon Terminal Pro computer from the show Severance?
Oh, yeah, the creepy one with the weird operating system.
Yeah, that one. Well, it popped up on Apple's website as a non-sale item. Just briefly, it was like a little Easter egg.
Haha, that's pretty clever marketing. They're tapping into the popularity of the show and playing with their own design aesthetic. It's a fun way to engage with fans even though you can't actually buy the product. It shows that even big tech companies can have a sense of humor.
It's a nice reminder that not everything has to be serious business all the time. Okay, before we go, we got to circle back to those privacy and data concerns. It's a theme that keeps coming up. And this week, we saw that 23andMe users are having trouble deleting their data after the company filed for bankruptcy protection. That's scary stuff.
It is concerning. It highlights those ongoing issues around data privacy and security. We've got the copyright questions with AI-generated art, and now this situation with 23andMe where people are struggling to control their own very sensitive genetic data. It shows that we need stronger regulations, better data management practices, and more transparency from these companies about how our data is being used. It's a constant balancing act between pushing the boundaries of technology and protecting individual rights.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers. So, big picture time. We've covered a lot of ground today. AI is making huge leaps from art to automation. We're seeing shifts in how software is developed, and there are massive investments flowing into the AI space. But all of this comes with big questions about ownership, privacy, and the future of technology.
You nailed it. The pace of change is accelerating, and it's both exciting and a little daunting. It's crucial that we stay informed and engage in these conversations about the implications of these technologies. As individuals, as businesses, and as a society, we need to figure out how to navigate this new landscape responsibly.
It's a lot to think about, but that's what we're here for, right? To break down these complex topics and make them a little more digestible.
Exactly. And hopefully spark some further thought and exploration along the way.
Well said. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of tech.
Always a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.
See you next time.